If you could choose to have any one famous cricketer um, on your show or one famous cricketing guest on your show, who would it be? Those are one of the questions that you guys asked. Werner, in fact, asked us that question, and that's the question that we're going to be headlining with today. And we're going to be answering your questions on today's live Q&A. It's been a long time since I saw you guys. It's a long time since I've been live with you guys. It's been a week, in fact. So I'm really excited to have a chat with you guys in the live chat today and get your questions in. Very excited to see what you have to say. Very interested to see what you guys have asked us. We will be starting off on Instagram and what we've said on Instagram first and foremost. And then we'll be getting into the questions that you guys have posted to us on Facebook as well as on YouTube. Now, if you're on Facebook and this is the first time you're watching the show, please head over to our YouTube channel as well and subscribe there because you'll get many exclusive interviews over there as well. So go ahead and subscribe to that on YouTube. If you're on Facebook and you're on YouTube, we're going to be having a little competition today. Let's see who can get more likes. Is it on Facebook or is it on YouTube? Which one can get more likes? So smash that like button, please, so that we can get this conversation going. So myself and Aditya today will be answering all your questions, but just hold on first and foremost before you ask them. First listen to we've got about 5 or 6 questions from Instagram that we would like to ask first. So wait for us to finish with those questions before you get your questions in so that I can answer your questions as fast as possible, because I don't want you guys to be waiting if you ask the question right now at the beginning of the show and then I'm with you guys later and I haven't answered it yet and I might not even get to it. So just hold on and hang on. Keep your questions for about 5 minutes into the show at least. So that we can get the conversation going. I hope you guys tuned in to all of our other exclusive content that we had this week. We had some excellent episodes on the Daily Show, exclusive interviews from everybody on the show as well. So I'm hoping that you guys did go ahead and watch all of those things. That you can see all of those videos in the description. But as you know, we need one task from you. If we can only ask you guys to do one thing, there's one thing that we need you to do, and that is subscribe to our magazine. Our monthly magazine is 100% free. Link is on the screen and in the description. Go ahead and sign up right now. All issues are free, all back issues are free. So go ahead and do that. To the guys that have just tuned in, what we're going to be doing is we're going to first be answering the questions that were given to us on Instagram. Once we're done with that, give your questions in the live chat on Facebook and on YouTube, and we will answer your questions. Anything that you would like to ask. Now, let's get straight into today's content. Really excited about this one. Let's get it. Hey guys, welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your daily show, your Q&A section of the daily show. I'm your host, Khalid Moeden. This is my co-host, Aditya. And this is the show where we answer all of your questions. So get your questions in, guys. We're going to be answering them. We have a couple of that have come in on Instagram. We're going to start with those first. And after we're done with those, you guys can ask us questions in the live comments, of course. But first, listen to these questions and the answers that we give you. I'm fresh off my first jab of the vaccine, of the Pfizer vaccine, so I'm feeling a little bit tired and a little bit woozy, and my arm is a little bit sore. But other than that, I think I'll be okay. So don't think that that there's something wrong with me or anything. But I will be a little bit tired and a little bit lackluster, a little bit for some of the answers. But welcome to the show, everybody. How's it, Aditya?
It's good. Congratulations, you got your first shot. I'm getting my second one tomorrow.
Okay, good luck with that. I'm so excited for you that you completed, and then you can go out, and hopefully we can go out more often after this and have a little bit of normalcy. You know, when I walked into the vaccine room or the area where we did the vaccines, etc., on the wall it said, let's get back to doing the things that you love. So one of the headlights were on the actual wall where you watch. I had to wait quite long, actually. I was there from about 12 o'clock, and I think I only finished about one or past one or something like that, crazy like that. So it was quite a hectic wait, but it was worth every. I think it was worth it. I hope it's worth it. That's what we're all there for. So yeah, let's get into the questions, Aditya. Guys, we're going to be asking the questions first and foremost that have been on Instagram. I hope you guys do ask us questions in the live chat. But the first question that we have for you guys is predictions for the T20 World Cup. It's a good one place to start. Let's go ahead and answer that question first. I think for me, I'm gonna go with my heart and not my mind, and I'm gonna say South Africa to win it. Underdogs to come through and win the World Cup, hopefully for the first time. And the unexpected is going to be happening because I think South Africa has prepared well for the conditions in Abu Dhabi. So, so I'm hoping that is going to happen from a South Africa perspective. If I want to think about from a Okay, let me just stick to that answer. Aditya, who's your answer? What's your answer and how are you going to be answering the question is the question.
It's a very difficult question. So I'm just going to give you a very specific answer to it. I think there's going to be an India versus South Africa final, and India will win by 1 run.
Imagine. As long as it's not a super over, like we've come to accustomed to the previous IPL, not this IPL, the previous one. There's so many super overs. I was like, wow, that was nerve-wracking. So, guys, we just want to let you know we're going to be answering your questions that you've sent in on Instagram first. So get ready. We're going to be doing your questions in the live chat very, very soon. The question that is in the headline of this particular show is a question that was asked to us. We're not asking you guys who would want on the show necessarily. That is something that you'd like to know, of course. But this is a question that we were asked on who we'd like to get on the show as a guest if we had anybody to get on. So that's a question that we're probably going to answer towards the end of this. Next question is from Suraj. Sorry, that question that was by Tyrone. Thank you, Tyrone. Tyrone 2+3 is his name on Instagram. So thanks a lot for asking us that question. Let's go to Suraj Campbell. Or Camble. I don't know how you pronounce it. It's probably Camble. Can players like Lewis Deploy, Chris Benjamin, David Bedingham play for Proteas? Your view? I think that now with the whole Brexit and with Colpax falling away and all of those type of things, these players coming back into the setup. Lewis Deploy spoke to us about wanting to, and David Bedingham about wanting to play for South Africa, that they're South African and they would love to play for South Africa. So I think that is something that is could be possible. And I think those are both players that have potential to do so. If they have good domestic seasons in South Africa, it's going to be very hard for the selectors to not look at them and not pick them. So I'm glad that both of them have gotten franchises and are going to be playing some cricket in South Africa. That is awesome from that part. I don't think we need to go too much into that one, Aditya. What's your thoughts on Lewis Deploy and someone like Chris Benjamin and someone like David Bedingham?
They're all promising talents, and they should be in the system. There's quite a lot of media coverage around David Bedingham because of his decision to play in England, but it's good that that they can be available for the domestic system and can eventually make it for the Proteas.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I think Chris Benjamin will be a little bit more of a more tricky one. I think because he's played for so many years in England. It's well, not so many years actually. I mean, we know that he's been playing. Majority of his cricket has been actually in England actually. So making his debut there in 2019 and playing majority. He's only 22 years old, so majority of his cricket has been played kind of in England. So we haven't really seen him much in the South African setup. So it's not. I think it's a little bit maybe harder for him, maybe because it looks like maybe he's going to be settling there. But maybe let's get him on the show and have a Q&A with him and have a chat with him and see what he has to say. Then we've got CK Kaur. He said, when do you think South Africa will announce their T20 World Cup squad? I think that they'll announce their squad after the Sri Lanka series. That's what I think. I don't think that they'll go ahead and announce it before that. I think because they're still looking for certain positions and they want to see how people are performing, they will announce it after Sri Lanka. That is just my hunch. What's yours, Aditya?
Yeah, that makes sense. Because even if they know, it's probably best that they don't let the opposition know. So, uh, I think it's good for South Africa if they hold their cards close to their chests. And I think they probably sit with their team on the last day. When it's due for the ICC.
Yeah. We've got one from David Hopes, our regular one that he asks every single week. It always is Markram related. Markram is greater than Bradman. Markram's average in last domestic season was 94. Bradman's average was 0. So that was from David Hopes. Then we've got one from Werner, which is the headline of this particular show. And that is, if you could choose to have any one famous cricket guest on your show, who would it be? I would like to get Herschel Gibbs on the show. That's someone that I would like to contact and get on the show. I've been waiting for him for a long time now. I think I did contact him about a year and a half ago, asking him. It was at the beginning of lockdown. So when lockdown just struck, and at that time we did not know the extent of COVID-19. We never knew how long we're going to be in lockdown, how long this is all going to last. At that point, the country only locked down for 2 weeks, and then they were going to reevaluate afterwards. So the answer that I got from Herschel was that at the moment he's not really, he's not in the right space, but after the lockdown, sure, let's get back in contact again. So I waited for after lockdown. It's still not after lockdown. So we had to wait quite some time for this now. So I'm gonna wait for after lockdown, and then I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna message it. If Herschel gives up again, and message him and say, "Hey, it's after lockdown. Are you interested in coming on a show with myself and Aditya on the Daily Show?" So Herschel gives you someone that I would really like to get to the channel. Aditya, who would you like to interview?
I was going to say Herschel Gibbs as well. So and now you're getting me to
Great
think
bands.
on my now you're getting me to think on my feet. Um, you know, there are a bunch of people I'd like to get Mark Boucher on the show.
That would be an excellent one to get on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could go either way. We don't know what way that's gonna go. Okay, so we've got a couple of guys that answered the question for us. Someone said Alan Donald. Let's try to get that. I think that's doable. Um, Someone said Cullis, AB, Pollock, Donald. Cullis, yeah, we'd love to get Cullis. AB, I've interviewed AB twice on the channel. But yeah, we could get to chat with AB. I would love to get Pollock on the show. I've been trying to get Pollock's details for so long now, and no one seems to have it. So I need to find a way how to get Pollock's number and get his
He's
contact details.
currently doing the India series, commentating in England, right? Well, I think he's in India right now, doing commentary for Sony. So yeah, interesting.
Oh, interesting. I really would love to get Pollock on the show. He seems like such a great guy to speak to. Someone said Gary Gerson. Guys, we have an exclusive interview with Gary Gerson in the last issue, in the previous issue, not this one, the previous one, right? Yeah.
13th issue, yeah.
The 13th issue with Vian Mulder on the cover. Go ahead and look at what Gary Gerson had to tell us about Test cricket, etc., and building international cricketers. There is a lot that he said in that particular article. So go ahead and download the latest issue of the go and subscribe to the magazine and get the last two issues and have a read on what some of high quality coaches have said about that. Ashwani saying Afghanistan will be the dark horse in the tournament. I think they will be. I mean, that spinners and wow, some great all-rounders and batters too. Please bring AB de Villiers. Of course, that's going to be something that people are going to say. Okay, here's our first question from Ashwani saying, one key player from South Africa in upcoming World Cup. I think that a key player will be, if Quinton de Kock can get consistency in this tournament, we really stand a massive chance. But that's an obvious pick. I think that I think the key player will probably be Tabray Shamsi. If he can keep his lethalness in the middle overs against teams and he can keep consistent form like he's been doing currently, I think he's going to be a key man for South Africa. Who would you pick as a key man for the World Cup?
Well, I've been saying all along that Faf will be a key part of that World Cup. But assuming if Faf doesn't play, then I want to say that Aiden Markham will be key.
Very interesting one. Very interesting one. We've got guys over here saying we would like to hear from Gary Gerson on team build up, how to handle pressure at international level. Yes, that would be interesting. Interesting one, and we'll try to get him on the show. Why do we bat our all rounders at 7, 8 coming in very late? Shouldn't we be more flexible and send them early every now and then so that they learn to build an inning, especially in limited overs? I thought that, yes, with regards to preparation leading up to the World Cup, etc., we should have done that more. But the problem is that we never had our batting all rounder, our best batting all rounder with us on tours. So, like Dwayne Pretorius, I think they would have sent him in earlier to bat if he was available. They did it a couple of times before, so I think they would have done that if that was the case. Currently, I don't think they saw maybe the opportunities came about for Vian Mulder to be able to come in at the correct position for himself. So I think that if Dwayne Pretorius was available, they probably would have sent him in up earlier. So I don't know. Maybe it's a match situation thing. Maybe they want the person to get the best, closest thing to match preparation. What do you think, Aditya?
Generally we associate all-rounders with a higher strike rate, in the batting department, and that's not necessarily the case with South Africa. Look, Vian Mulder is still finding his feet in that all-rounders role. So, should he be sent up early every now and then? Yes, but South Africa need to balance that with their power hitters getting as much game time as well, because ultimately it's more important for David Miller, the batsman, to be confident as opposed to Vian Mulder, the batsman, because David Miller is always going to bat at 5. And Vian Mulder is always going to bat at 7. So I'd love Vian Mulder to be batting really well, but David Miller needs to be batting even better.
Yeah,
so
that's the thing. Yes, we need to feel comfortable with David Miller, and I think they're trying to push form on him, like push him into getting into form, because he hasn't been having the best of tours the last couple of games. I feel Harshit will probably disagree with us if he was here. He hasn't joined us for a long time. Where's this guy? So which all-rounders should be next in line after Mulder and Dwayne in each of the formats? Okay, let's start with Test cricket. I think the best next in line all-rounder will probably be Michael Pretorius. I think from that perspective, I think he's probably the best next in line all-rounder. If you're looking at the older guy, oldish guy, he's not that old, so oldish guy. And I think someone like, I think someone left field like Tian Kukamur could really, if he has a great 2 seasons, he could really push for an all-rounder position because he can bat higher up the order. I know he's a friend of ours and a friend of the channel, and maybe I'm a little bit biased with regards to that, but I remember how good he was before he got his horrific injury. So I'm hoping that he can get back to the same levels. It seems like he's very fit and he's doing well. So Tian is another option, and Delano Potgieter is another option as well. I think Delano has also shown some excellent performances in the past. Bryce Parsons, if you consider him as an all-rounder, I think is another great option, as well as Ruan de Swart. I think Ruan de Swart is someone that can bat higher up and bowl. Rather than being a bowling all-rounder, I feel that he's more of a batting all-rounder. So I think across probably, across all formats for someone like Bryce Parsons. I think probably across all formats for Delano, but I think in white ball cricket for Ruan de Swart, I think that's a good option. If you consider Gerald Coetzee as to be an all-rounder, which he was at school and he was in the Kaya Majority, then Gerald Coetzee is another option, and Marco Jansen, of course, which is was a known name across all formats as well, possibly. Particularly maybe in limited overs cricket for now, because I think he needs to more experience playing 4-day cricket before he can get to a level that I feel that I'm comfortable with selecting him one of the first names on the team sheet, because I don't think he's played enough 4-day cricket to really cement a place in that starting lineup quite yet. But I think he has all the potential, and his brother Dwan Jansen as well. So those are some of the names that I mentioned. I'm sorry if I left out anybody's name. Please DM me if I left out your name. There's obviously Jason Smith, who I think can get the resurgence to his career now that he's moved, and Tayan Khalim, who shouldn't be counted out as an all-rounder as well. So those are some of the guys that I can see. Ayak Kamani, I think, in the T20 format as well. I know I'm mentioning a lot of names here, but especially in limited overs cricket, I think a guy like that as well. Sorry if I left out anybody's name. Corbin Bosch is another option. I think he's been excellent as well. And yeah, I think I've mentioned majority of the guys that I can think of off the cuff. We've seen the likes of Mutasami. We've seen the likes of those guys. The majority of the guys have been given opportunities, but there's quite a few that haven't. Who's your picks, Aditya?
All the players that you mentioned.
Okay.
I'd go with
Thank
that.
you. Okay, cool.
No, actually.
Let's look over here for another one. I'm not going to ask another one from you, Ashwani, because we have to give other guys an opportunity. Dex, I don't want to miss your question before you call me out. Khalid, Aditya, if the Proteas' upcoming T20 World Cup campaign would go like 2019 World Cup, will Temba get sacked from the captaincy like Faf got sacked after the World Cup from white ball? I don't think Faf got sacked necessarily. That might be that Faf will have to tell us himself. It seemed more like Faf stepped away to give other people opportunities. So I don't think that's the case. Temba has been selected as a captain till 2023. I think, yes, Deshan just said that in the comment section as well. So he's been, because the 2023 World Cup is a whole different format. I don't think it's the fact that I don't think Faf got sacked as a captain. I think he stepped away from the captaincy to give some other people opportunities. I think that's what actually happened. So with the 2019 World Cup, the 2019 World Cup this is a big mess up from everywhere. We had a certain game plan, and our plan A didn't work, and we had to change our whole setup and mentality because our first game plan wasn't working. We were still searching for batters to be in form. It was a mess, the last World Cup. AB de Villiers coming out saying he wants to play for South Africa again, and then that's said to be a rumor. So there was a lot of things that went down there that I feel was a little bit off, from that particular World Cup experience. What's your thoughts, Aditya?
Well, a couple of things. One was that Faf was dealing with a lot of off-field issues in Cricket South Africa. Stuff that he shouldn't have been dealing with. So the team suffered. There was a fair bit of instability in that period in the team, and with Graham Smith and Barger coming in, they wanted to take that pressure away from Faf. Because Faf has gone on record to say that was his toughest season as captain. So I think that might have been one reason. The other thing, particularly with respect to white ball cricket, is that I guess there was an unspoken assumption that given his age, he wouldn't play the next 50-over World Cup. But you never know what might happen now. He's got a year's rest now.
Look at clickbait trying to get me into trouble in the comment section. Who is the nicest Proteas that you've met? Or I'm assuming you say player that you've met, not the entire squad. I'm not. It's gonna be too difficult for me to mention names. If I miss someone's name, I'm probably gonna need talking to if I miss someone's name. But I can say that because I've met majority of them in this current setup. And all of them have been nice to me, and all of them have been very friendly with me. So I haven't really had an instance with the current setup. There has been incidences with other players from previous setups, which I'm not going to mention because I don't want to put people on blast. Aditya will know what I'm talking about. That's mine in his secret. But other than that, I think the one I would rather answer it in a way, who do I get along with? So Bjorn Fontaine, we have chats. Tabrei Shamsi, always very warm and welcome whenever I see him. Always have a chat with him when I see him. Aiden Markram, me and him sit down and we have chats for long when we do get to see each other. But all of the guys are top guys. Lungingiri, Anik Nokia. I mean, you can see by the interviews that we have with the guys, the relationship that we have with him. So go ahead and look at our On Lockdown series. Majority of them are all there. I've got some interviews with some of the guys as well. Dwayne Pretorius, you can see how much fun I had interviewing him. So go ahead and look at all the interviews we've done, the exclusive interviews, and you can pick out which one I had most fun. Then you can come. Oh, okay, that's a nice challenge for the fans, actually. Go to our exclusive interviews column and go and watch some of our interviews that we've done with some of the players. Go to our lockdown episodes and try to check out some of them too and see which guys you think I had the most fun with, and put it in the comments of this video. Let's see what you guys come up with and who you think we had the most fun interviewing, or I had the most fun interviewing. And let's see what you come up with for that. So yeah, let's go to one more question. Oh, wait. Abit asked this question. I think this is a good one. Aditya, is there any chance for Fanton de Brevas to play for the Proteas in the future? Let me start with you because you know my answer.
Yes, absolutely. They have to play with the Proteas in the future. There's no question about it. At the moment, it's about them getting as much exposure as possible, getting as much game time as possible in the domestic setup. But yeah, there's far too much talent there for them not to be playing for the Proteas at some point.
Mm-hmm. And you guys know my answer on this. I mean, Brevas is one of the best talents that we've seen in the game for a very long time. Natural talented players, and Van Tonde. I mean, I'm a massive fan. He knows it. You guys know it. You've seen our interviews with him as well. Van Reinhard, and particularly, it's maybe not on natural talent necessarily that I admire the most of him. Yes, he's a very talented cricketer and a very good cricketer from a technical perspective. But it's his mentality that I respect, and his maturity. And that's the thing that I respect the most about Reiner Fanton, and why I think he's going to be a great player for South Africa one day. Okay, cool. So Crickbait has said he'll rank them and he'll go ahead and do that. So guys, let's see who does it first. Go ahead and join him in that, and let's see what happens with regards to that. Let's take one more. Why is CSA not given chances to players like Reiner van Tonder, Corne Dry, and Michael Pretorius? Reiner van Tonder, I think it's because they wanted to give people opportunities that have performed for a long period of time in the domestic setup first. Because Reiner's still very young. There's still a long time for him to play for South Africa. We mustn't rush the guys also too quickly into the setup either. We need to protect our guys as well. When they are ready, and when they're feeling good, and then when they're feeling ready, mentally ready, and Reiner will probably never say that he's not ready, because the man's mental capacities is unbelievable. But I think that he needs one more season in the domestic setup to really solidify and show that he can do it again, because he's done it twice in a row now. A third time, there's going to be no place for South Africa. They're going to have to pick him if he does well in this particular season, under the pressures that they're going to be playing under. I think for Michael Pretorius, Michal's a difficult one, because it's about dropping one of the bowlers, I feel, for Michal. That's where they're going to come in. And because we don't really have, in Test cricket at least, because we don't really have a bowling all-rounder in Test cricket necessarily. So, other than the spinning all-rounder like Keshav, if you're going to add him into the game, so into the equation. With regards to T20 cricket, etc., I think they've looked at the stats and looked at who's performed consistently over the last couple of years, and everybody that has performed well over the last 5 years are in the squads currently. That's the case. So I think I actually went ahead, because one of our writers, Chris, spoke to me that a couple of days ago, and I hope he's not going to be upset that I'm mentioning him. But he's now has an idea sharing podcast as well, or a cricket pavilion conversations that is on this channel. He did his first one with Andy Burrell that we've shared. At least go follow his podcast, etc. as well. But we had a conversation, and I went through the last couple of limited overs, particularly in T20 cricket, and looked at the last couple of seasons of T20 cricket to see who performed well. And the same names popped up. It was majority of them were the Proteas guys. Guys already in the Proteas setup. And the rest of the French players, they were up and down with their performances. So I think maybe if Michal has another season like he did last season, I think it's going to be very difficult to keep him out of the team, because I also think he's a very talented player. Aditya, what is your thoughts on that? Corner Dry, I'm not so sure about. I think Cornet's numbers need to get to a level where we jumps out again. There's been a couple of seasons he's done well, but I think it's all about consistency over a long period of time.
Yeah, I think in the post-COVID era, South Africa is going to be a bit more conservative about um, the number of opportunities they give out to younger players,
Mm,
because I think towards the end of the Pakistan series, Bachchat said in a press conference that um, there've been too many opportunities that have been given out, and sometimes players have been caught off guard. So perhaps they're going to learn from this experience, because I think in the last season, some 38 players represented South Africa,
yeah.
which is a lot. And I think 45 players were part of the team setup. So um, because of COVID, bigger squads are going to be selected, uh, but that's not necessarily beneficial to
Mm,
players. Herschel Gibbs once said that he was probably selected too early,
mhm,
and it didn't serve him too well. So look, I know we all want to see some of this young talent play at the international level, but I think it's better if they're sort of battle hardened and they come to the international level very mentally, uh, because you don't want a situation where they're undercooked, play international cricket, feel overwhelmed, and then that sort of messes with them. So you don't want that to happen for sure. Um, but yeah, I guess eventually with time, these players will be playing for South Africa.
mm. Why has opening in Test cricket become difficult nowadays, or why don't we see openers for all conditions? Is that what he's trying to ask?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Aditya, you want to have a go first?
Well, this question can be answered from both perspectives. I think if we're talking about it from a batting perspective, uh, there has been, a rather alarming poverty in batting stocks across the world, and we can point to a number of reasons for that. One is scheduling. People not like players not having enough red ball cricket under their belt. You look at this current India England series. England hasn't played a red ball game since their series against New Zealand like 2 months ago. So they've come in undercooked and totally ill prepared, and obviously
Mm,
technically they've been found out as well. So that's an issue, and I think uh, that's something that most teams will have to contend with. In
mm,
Australia, for example, uh, their Sheffield Shield season, has been sort of interrupted by the Big Bash. So you have some players playing the Sheffield Shield for a period of time, then they're going to play Big Bash cricket, and then they're going back to play the Sheffield Shield. So that doesn't help Australian cricket either. And I think India has probably found uh, a formula with KL Rahul and Rohit Sharma, because both have done well in the two Test matches that have been played. But you're right. Opening has become. I think batting in general has suffered dramatically. With a few exceptions. If we look at it from the bowling front, I think over the last decade there's been a conversation about restoring the balance between bat and ball, because far too many pitches across the world were just flat roads where batters were scoring, double hundreds and triple hundreds and so on. And I think somewhere the ICC felt the need to intervene and um, give bowlers an opportunity to showcase their talents as well. So in that, I think batters have suffered too, because they haven't been able to adapt.
mm.
But yeah, difficult, very difficult.
Yeah, and bowlers have also become are much more accurate and have increased their intensity and their performances as well. High performance has become a major thing in cricket. Analysts have become more and more into the game to read into things, and sports science has changed the way players bowl and finding um, the best consistency and that they can find with regards to their body types and changing with that. So I think it's been a lot harder to be an opener. Also, conditions in different parts of the world. There's certain areas that in certain places where it's very difficult to bat in the morning session, or to bat early in the morning, or to bat at the beginning with a new ball against a new ball, on surfaces that have become a lot more bowler friendly than batter friendly. I think surfaces have changed a lot as well, with a lot of teams actually favoring their bowlers to win games rather than their batters. So I think that's also changed a lot with regards to that. But guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. We thank you for all your questions. I hope you guys enjoyed the show and you enjoyed all of this. We're going to be doing this every Friday, as you know. So get your questions ready and join us every Friday for this Q&A sessions. We love to interact with you guys. And because we're not doing our daily shows anymore live in the week, this should be the prime time for you guys to tune in on a Friday to come chat with us, as well as on a Sunday for our podcast. Don't forget to download the latest issue of the magazine and subscribe to our magazine, please. That is the one and only task that I give you guys to do. And that's your homework for the weekend. So go ahead and click on the link in the screen or in the description and enjoy amazing exclusive content. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. We'll see you again on Sunday with another amazing podcast. Take care, everybody.